So not mindfulness, a mini meditation workshop. So we're all aware of our current situation we're in, which is pretty dramatic. And meditation is such a timeless practice that seems so timely today. And I want to take a moment first, and everybody at the Institute for Spirituality and Health at the Texas Medical Center in Houston would like to give a shout out to all of the healthcare professionals that are working on the front line. So thank you for your good deeds and God bless you. So the agenda today, I'll make a few introductory comments about meditation. I'll talk about how to prepare and get ready for meditation. I'll take us through 4 or 5 different practices of meditation, just to give you a snapshot of a taste of them. Then I'll recommend a few books and a couple of retreat centers you may want to check out. So my son, Zach, called last night. He said, "Dad, what's the agenda for tomorrow?" And I went through it. He said, "We don't have to sit for an hour straight." I said, "No, we don't." I said, "Now just remember, folks are just a mouse click away from checking out on you. So remember that." So first of all, I'm not anti-mindfulness. I love mindfulness practice. I've taught it for almost 50 years. I do mindfulness meditation. I'm a huge fan of mindfulness meditation. But size 8 doesn't necessarily fit everybody. And there are lots of options out there for people to work with. So I think the point of this little gig today is to introduce you guys to a few techniques that are not mindfulness based. Then the question that always comes up at a workshop like this is, how do I know when I've found the right practice for me? And my answer is, how do you know when you're in love? You know it. How do you know what a Coca-Cola tastes like? You know it, but you really cannot explain it. From Trungpa Rinpoche, my first meditation teacher, 1972. A true spiritual path is arduous and demanding. Those with doubts should not embark. If you have not started, it's best not to begin. But if you have begun, it's best to finish. So there are 2 types of meditation. If you were to take all of the practices from all the different lineages, from the different wisdom traditions, they would all fall into one of these 2 buckets. First, guided visualization, and number 2, a concentration technique. In a guided visualization, the focal point of awareness as you meditate changes. And an example would be a prayer. In a concentration technique, excuse me, point of awareness is unchanging. And an example would be a mindfulness practice or using something like a mantra. Both techniques work. One is no better than another. In a guided practice, those practices focus more on opening the heart center, and the concentration techniques quiet the mind. 3 things happen when we meditate. Number 1, the mind quiets. Number 2, as the mind quiets, concentration deepens. And number 3, as concentration deepens, we begin to hear clearly the message of the heart. So at the end of the day, the point of practicing meditation is to quiet the mind, open the heart, and listen to what the heart is telling us to do. The catch-22 is we can't listen to the message of the heart if we have a monkey mind. So the practices help calm the monkey mind. You cannot stop the mind from thinking thoughts in meditation. What happens is the mind does quiet, and as the mind quiets, there's a little gap between the end of one thought and the start of another thought. So what we're doing when we meditate, hopefully, is we're dropping into those mindless moments, or the mindful moments between each thought. Now, the rate of progress as we do this, as you undertake a practice, is slow. You probably won't have these great epiphanies from the get-go. Ram Dass would often say, the rate of progress is exactly one body length. You practice, stand up, take a step forward, fall flat on your face. Practice, take a step forward, fall flat on your face. Get up, and you just keep going. So on the preparation, it's really 4 steps to go through to get ready to meditate. First is a nice, quiet space. So just a corner of your room. If you have the luxury of having an entire room for a meditation space, a yoga space, that would be terrific. Well lit, good ventilation, near a window if possible. But it doesn't take much space to get set up. And then it's nice also to gather a few books, fire up some incense, have fresh flowers, and just make it comfortable and feeling good for you. Then preparation for the body. If you do floor sitting, you got to have some flexibility. So needless to say, I recommend get on a good solid yoga routine, get stretched out, improve the circulation, make the sitting as comfortable as possible. But if you're not into the floor, chairs are fine. But you just want to be sure you're comfortable so you're not distracted by any dis-ease in the body. Now, the fastest way to control the mind is through the breath. If you have a quiet, even breath, steady breath, you'll have a quiet, even, steady mind. So we're going to be doing first a few rounds of what I call the complete yoga breath, or just deep belly breathing, full belly breathing. And to show you the impact on this, if you were to meditate for 20 minutes, if you were to have 10 minutes of controlled breathing and then 10 minutes of meditation, chances are your meditation practice will be deeper if you do the controlled breathing first than if you were to practice a meditation without the controlled breath. The key to the breath is the exhale should be longer than the in-breath. So we'll practice to a count of inhaling to a count of 4 and exhaling to a count of 8. And I'll snap my fingers for the count. And when you have an extended exhale, that has a relaxing effect on the body, on the mind. And if you reverse it and you have the in-breath twice as long as the out breath, that's going to give you an energizing effect. So if you were to flip it and inhale to 8 and exhale to 4, that would give you the energy and get you going. But we're going to do in 4 and out 8. So as we do this, just get comfortable either on the floor. If you're in a chair, have your feet flat. And let me just do one breath for you just to show how the count will work. Now on the in breath, let the belly expand out like a balloon and then bring it up. And on the out breath, pull the belly in and let the air go out from the belly up. So first, we'll take a deep breath and exhale. And in 4, out 8. Okie doke. Here we go. So feet flat. Have your back reasonably straight. Pulling your waist up out of your hips. Lift your rib cage up out of your waist. Head is straight away. Close your mouth. Close the eyes. Exhale, breathe out and empty completely. In 4. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. Inhale. Out. In. Last one. Now just continue to sit quietly for a moment. And just become aware of the waves of the mind as you sit. And simply allow the breath to assume its natural tide in the body. Allowing each in breath and each out breath to come and go on its own. And noting any sounds that you hear, any sensations you feel, and all of those myriad thoughts drifting through the mind. Just notice. Open the eyes. Okay, the body is stretched out. You have the breath quiet and even. Next, You need to prepare the heart center. Good way to do that is with what is called a metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. And in the metta practice, you actually say this, you speak it. It has 6 different stanzas to it. Don't worry about writing this down. We'll have this recorded. You can tune into it later, or we'll post it on the ISH website. But it goes like this. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I have the wisdom, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties in life. May all of my family, then you articulate each of your family members' names, be happy, be peaceful, and so on. Third stanza, may all of my teachers, and you bless each of your teachers, be happy, be peaceful, and be free from suffering. Next, you cast a net to all of your friends. May all of my friends be happy, be peaceful. Stanza number 5, your enemies. Yes, you bless your enemies. May all of my enemies be happy, be peaceful, and be free from suffering. Stanza 6, may all sentient beings, seen and unseen, born and to be born, be happy, be peaceful, and be free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they have the wisdom, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties in life. From a Ram Dass retreat decades ago. The freer I get, the higher I go. The higher I go, the more I see. The more I see, the less I know. The less I know, the more I'm free. Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage. So often we get lost in the plot and the actors, but you got to remember, you're the audience as well. So in this practice, this is about cultivating the witness to where you actually become the audience rather than the actors. So you'll come to, again, a comfortable seated position. We'll do a few rounds of the breath just to start, and then I'll guide you and take you through the practice. So back straight. Pull the waist up out of the hips. Rib cage up out of the waist. Head is straight away. Close the mouth, close the eyes. And as you close the eyes, just allow the eyes to tilt up and roll back ever so slightly. Shoulders are loose. And you have an easy full belly. So exhale, breathe out and empty completely. In 4. Breathe out. In. Out. In 4. Exhale. In. Out. Again. Last one. Now just tune in to the space around you, inside, just turning the awareness inward. And feel and experience the vast, clear sky inside of you. Tuning into that space. It's a sky that holds the moon, the planets, and all of the galaxies. All of this is inside you. And allow your mind and your heart to become that space. And as the breath assume its natural tide, allow yourself to breathe in and out through the heart center. And as you do that, just allow yourself to become the sky. And resting for just a moment in the depth of that vast silence. And any sounds that you hear, notice how those sounds are born into time. They exist and die back into the formless. Sound of my voice is born and it dies. Noting any points of dis-ease as you sit. They come and they go. And all of the myriad thoughts drifting through the mind. Subtle as it may be, each thought is born, it exists, and dies. And you neither reach toward nor do you push against any of it. Acknowledge each one. Offer it your pranams, your blessings, and let it go. The very first practice I've always taught from the get-go in this, just call it the monkey mind meditation, is just to sit quietly, do the breathing first, letting the breath assume its natural time in the body. And with each in-breath, think the word rising, and each out-breath, you count back one digit, starting at 100. So it's like rising on the in-breath, 100. You don't say it, you think it. Rising, 99. Rising, 98. And you get down to like 61, and suddenly you're in Chicago. And you do not have a clue where you are. And every time you forget your number, you start again at 100. Rising, so on. And what that does is really just shows you how scattered our minds are. From David Steindl-Ratz, 93-year-old Benedictine monk who lives in a monastery outside of Salzburg, Austria. Some people find it easier to eat prayerfully than to say their prayers prayerfully. What matters is prayer, not prayers. Our spiritual experience begins and ends with the heart. So what's a meditation gig without talking about mantras for a moment? So these will be heart-opening mantras. And I'll share with you just a few that I have worked with personally over the years. From a Ram Dass retreat years ago, this is one of his favorites. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. Or perhaps Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. And you can shorten it. Be still and know. Be still and know. Be still. Be still. Be. Be. One that Ram Dass worked with the last years of his life. I am loving awareness. And you tune in, you drop into that space, into your heart center, into your soul where you are love. Souls love, egos don't love. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Sanskrit mantra. Gate, gate, paragate, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. It's called an expansion mantra. To where you chant it, you expand outward. Translates as gone, gone, beyond, beyond the beyond, to the homage. So as you say it, you expand outward. Gate, gate, paragate, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. 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 From a tombstone, an 18th century tombstone on Martha's Vineyard. Listen, friend, as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. Prepare yourself to follow me. Listen, friend, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. Prepare yourself to follow me. From Ajahn Chah, this is one of Jack Cornfield's primary teachers, is a practice called taking the one's seat. And Ajahn Chah says, all you've got to do is get a chair. Put a chair in the center of your room. Open all the doors and windows and see who comes to visit. So when we take the one seat, we become our own monastery. You literally create a monastery in your seat. So we'll do a few rounds of breathing, and I'll guide you into this. And as we take the one seat, and sit quietly, every sound that you hear, every sensation you feel, and every thought, you simply not acknowledge it with this too, or this too. Remember those three things: the sounds, the sensations, the thoughts. Those are always the three biggies that pull you away from the point of concentration. So your mind may drift 1,000 times, but 1,001 times you always come back to the point, concentration. So, sitting tall and straight, pulling the waist up out of the hips, rib cage comes up out of the waist, head is straight away, the eyes are closed, mouth is closed. Feel the eyes tilting upward slightly. Exhale, breathe out and empty. And 4. Exhale. In. Breathe out. Keep it going. In. Out. In. Breathe out. Inhale. Last one. Now just allowing the breath to once again assume its natural tide in the body. Allowing each in-breath and each out-breath to come and go on its own. And just noting how the waves of the mind rise and fall. The waves are created by the sounds, sensations, and thoughts. And whatever it is you're aware of, simply note it. This too. It's noting where the awareness is. So with each moment, or has your mind drifted yet once again? Whenever you're aware of the drifting mind, go back. You simply cultivate moment awareness. The Zen teacher Suzuki Roshi was teaching a 30-day Zen retreat. As he was getting older, he was getting tired about halfway through, so he sent one of his senior students in to lead the retreat. After a day or two, the student came in and said, Roshi, have a language barrier. I feel like I'm not getting the essence of the teaching across to the students. I really cannot do this. It's lost in translation. Suzuki Roshi looked at him and said, all you need are 5 words. Today is today. Today is not yesterday. Today is not tomorrow. Today is today. Okay, I want you to get yourself situated so you can sit perfectly still with no movement for a few minutes. So we'll take a vow to ourselves. No matter what we feel as we sit, we're not going to budge. We're not going to move. Total and complete stillness. So if you're on the floor in a chair, again, back straight, waist out of hips, rib cage out of waist, head straight away. Close your mouth, close the eyes. Exhale, breathe out and empty completely. In 4, breathe out. In, out. Inhale, breathe out. In, out. In, last one. So allowing the breath to assume once again its natural tide. It's turning the awareness inward. And allowing each breath to come and go on its own. Notice as you sit still. Notice the, excuse me, the movement of your belly with each in-breath and each out-breath. So your body is still, but your belly is moving. And with your awareness turned inward, noting the beating of the heart. And with the beating of the heart, you have the pulsation of the blood as it's pumped through your body. But most of all, notice the movement of your mind. Constant, unending movement. Isn't it interesting that as all of us sit still, there is constant motion going on inside of us. This is called movement within stillness. And allow the movement of your belly, the beating of the heart, pulsation of the blood, and the movement of your mind become the points of awareness. Simply note all of the movement. Acknowledge it, honor it, and bless it. So let me recommend a few books to you, if I may. Cyrus, I can't see if these are showing up, but Journey of Awakening by Ram Dass. It's an oldie but goodie. All of these are still in print. So they may have these are first editions, so they may have a different cover. Anything by Jack Kornfield, but this is really one of his more popular books on meditation, A Path with Heart. And we used this book years ago back at the studio and went through it page by page for a year. Suzuki Roshi, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, a classic. It's been in print for 40 or 50 years. Stephen Levine, Guided Meditations, Explorations, and Healings. It's 250 pages of nothing but different meditation practices.
Hey Lex, can you lift up the cover a little bit so we can see it? A little lower.
Lower.
Perfect. There you go.
Did you see all of them?
Mm-hmm.
David Stonelrotz, who's still with us, 93 years old now, the Benedictine monk in Austria. Gratefulness, the Heart of Prayer. And then Jack Kornfield's latest came out about a year ago, No Time Like the Present. Then for retreat centers, I'll mention a couple. Monastery of Christ in the Desert. It's a Benedictine monastery in northern New Mexico, outside of Abiquiu, New Mexico. It's Abiquiu, not Albuquerque, but Abiquiu. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. It's right on the Chama River. It's drop dead gorgeous. It's not in the desert. It's actually named after the 12th century desert fathers. So don't let the name of the place confuse you. But they can accommodate about 20 guests, have an abbot, about 20 monks who live there year round, and you follow the day of the monks. I'm not a Catholic, but I just love going. I love the services, the quiet, the solitude, and it's the chanting of the Psalms. So they have 8 offices or services a day. Shortest is called Sext, S-E-X-T, runs 7 minutes. Longest is a full mass in the morning that runs an hour and a half. But the other services are the chanting of the Psalms. So they alternate Latin one day, English the next. And it's call and response. It's beautiful music. It's like Gregorian chants. So you can pull them up on your computer. Just Google christinthedesert.org. Should come up. Lama Foundation. It's the granddaddy of all the retreat centers the last 50 years. 15 miles outside of Taos, Mexico. They have summer programs, summer retreats, women's retreats, yoga retreats, kid retreats, meditation retreats. They run usually 5 or 6 days. Upaya Zen Center in Santa Fe, UPAYA. It's not in the heart of Santa Fe, it's outside in the hills a bit. It is a Buddhist monastery, and I like it because they bring in really world-class teachers to teach all these really cool week-long retreats. And I call it the 4 seasons of retreat centers, flush toilets, good food, hot showers. Rooms are very, very comfortable. It's nice. So those are a few options for you. So just to recap on practices to do, you start off, if you're a newbie, with the counting of the breath backwards from 100. Remember, rising on each in-breath, count back 1 digit on the out-breath. Looking through my notes here, the guided practices, remember, open the heart center. The concentration techniques, quiet the mind. Remember to do the full belly breathing before you do the meditation. Better to do a longer exhale than an inhale. So focus on the 4-8 count. The metta meditation, loving kindness. Be sure to articulate that before you actually do the formal sit. It takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes to go through all 6 stanzas. And then the expansion guided practices that take you out of the heart center. Mantras, any mantra you may be comfortable with. Looking at my notes, when I forgot to share with you the Jesus prayer, which is, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Learned that from a hermit at Christ in the Desert years ago. And her name was Ellen. She lived in the stone hermitage on the property for years, 12 hours a day. She had icons on her wall in her room. She prayed for all the people in the world who did not have people to pray for them. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. It's powerful. So let me close with the blessing of loving kindness. May all of the beings who zoomed in be happy, peaceful, free from suffering. Problems come to you. Difficulties come to you. Always have success. Bless you. Peace. Love all. You still on, Cyrus?
Yeah.
Yeah. May all the beings who zoomed in be happy, be peaceful, free from suffering. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come. As far as I can get.
Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lex.
Beautiful,
Lex.
Lex.
See you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Uncle Lex.
Thank you.
Uncle Lex.
Thank you, Uncle Lex. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
Here's the messages.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thanks, Lex.
Blessings to all of you.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
Thanks. Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, Uncle Lex.
Thank you, Swami. Love you.
Yeah.